Hey y'all, we are back for another Insecure recap. Brooke Thomas, Sean Bell. This was one of my favorite episodes of all time, top two episodes for sure, and I think it was much needed. It's been a rough past few days. Um, Everything, we're focused, right? I mean, we're all thinking about the same thing. We're all scared, we're all angry, we're a little sad. I think we're all having the same emotions and the same need to just like shake your sadness for a little bit, right? I don't know how
It,
you're feeling.
it was the only break I feel like I've had, only mental break I
Yeah.
feel like I've had in, a 5, 6, 7 day stretch. You know what I mean? Like everything has been focused on the murder of George Floyd,
Hmm.
the Minneapolis protests, and, you know, the president doing a terrible job as always. So everything's been focused on that. So, mentally drained. So it was just like,
Yeah.
it was 30 minutes that we needed.
And I watched a video of something that happened on CNN, and it was George Floyd's brother getting to speak through Sarah Sidner, getting to speak through a reporter, um, and ask the police chief a question. And I watched his brother break down as you would expect, and it was so sad. And I've been like telling my friends that I have a moment every day that something just takes me over the edge, right? And so that night, Sunday night, it was that. And so long after I watched the clip, I was still a little weepy, moving around the house, cleaning stuff up, getting ready for bed, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch Insecure. And I turned it on, and I swear I still had like a teary eye. And then Issa tripped and fell, and out of nowhere, I busted out laughing like so aggressively hard, and I needed that bad in that moment, you
Yeah,
know?
it was definitely something again that we all needed. And right off the bat, it let me know who wrote that episode. You know what I mean?
Natasha Rothwell, yeah,
Yes, it was just like, okay, this is her humor. Like, right off
right, right,
the
right.
bat, I know like this is going to at least lighten the mood up and be funny. Because I'm happy. I was a little worried that it was going to be an episode that made me tense like the week before, right? Like it was just
Uh-huh.
like, I don't need
Oh,
that.
right, right. I could not have done that
Yeah,
episode
I
this
don't need
weekend.
that in my soul right now. I need something
Yeah.
light and charming. And this episode delivered perfectly in a time where we needed that 30-minute break from the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's crazy how things work out because last week's episode was so important. We talked about it forever, and I loved it. And but yeah, I think I'm a little too weak for that pool conversation to
Mhm.
have happened. This is crazy how things work out. We got what we needed. All right, let's get into it.
Yeah, and
The
and
episode's
like you said
uh
before you go, this was, even if we weren't in the predicament that we're in as a country, this still
right.
may have been my top two episode or top three episode of the entire series for me.
It's top two for sure for me. I'm struggling if whether it's this one or the Coachella episode.
Oh yeah,
Those are my top two episodes. When
yeah,
Kelly said, "Remember me different,"
yeah, yeah.
these
But
are for sure my top two episodes.
yeah, but I'll let you go ahead and start. But I'll explain why this thing was perfect for me.
This was for me a top 10, top 20, maybe episode of TV, period. For me, maybe it's the state of mind I'm in, but it just was done really well. I realized for 10 minutes straight, I was laughing so hard that I was worried my neighbors could hear me. Like it was uncontrollable laughter, and I kept having to pause it and rewind because I would be laughing so hard that I would miss something, like I would miss part of the dialogue. And so that it was just fun. And then I realized even parts where I wasn't laughing, I had like this open mouth smile.
Hmm.
Where you're just watching it, you just feel good. It was a
I
good
was
experience.
I was smiling because it satisfied my annoyance with the characters, right? Like
Okay.
we talked all season about terrible communication, right? Like, and I've talked about Issa and Molly and Lawrence not being self-aware or just admitting to their wrongs. And
Hmm.
this episode had all of that. Just being self-aware, admitting to where you were wrong, taking some blame,
Yeah.
and having great communication throughout the entire episode. And that's something
magic,
that has been missing the first, 6 episodes, the first 7 episodes, all terrible communication everywhere. And we finally got it to a T.
Yeah, that communication has been missing since episode 1, in certain instances. That's why we got to where we are today in this episode. I will say, I have to say it.
Uh-oh.
Seems Lawrence is more willing to admit his faults than Team Lawrence, his fans.
I think that's
opposite. Listen, he left y'all in the dust, okay? Because he was like, you know what? No, I did have fault in this.
See, that's why I think it's opposite. Because you know me, I think I've been on Issa, and I applaud her this episode for admitting where she was wrong also. But
again, that was always clear.
No. Issa,
to viewers, though, it was always clear where Issa was wrong.
No. I think, and we talked about it, even with the Molly situation. I feel like Issa, because we love her, has always gotten to skate.
No, so she cheated. Nobody is okay with that. She cheated on him. Nobody's okay with that.
But it was never mentioned. Like by I'm just talking about the Issa Hive. It was always a back burner thing. He cheated.
I am Issa Hive.
But
she cheated and it was raggedy.
He did.
You are what? This is what they call on Twitter. They call moving the goalpost. Okay, that's what you're doing.
That's what I think fans have done.
The goalpost. Okay.
Again, I've been the same this entire time. I want everyone to get adequate blame. Issa has consistently skated.
I don't think that's true, but okay.
Whether it's the Lawrence situation, because we love her as a person, she has consistently skated. But that's off on a tangent. But it was just nice to see, and I think, like, you just came at me, and I had to reply. I think it was nice for both fans to see. Hey, Lawrence Hive. Hey, Issa Hive. Shut up. They both were wrong. They're both admitting they were wrong. And maybe y'all should admit that the opposite person isn't as bad as we thought.
I think that it's inaccurate to say that the person who cheated has not been bashed for cheating. The character cheated. She cheated.
Yes, but
of course that's bad. Everybody agrees. Nobody wants to be cheated on.
Bashed her for that.
I disagree with that. Nobody was cool with that. She cheated on her boyfriend. Nobody was cool with that.
Everyone qualified it with it was okay because of how Lawrence was.
It was never okay, and it was never qualified. I think the conversation has always been the relationship was broken.
Even when we had
shouldn't have cheated.
In earlier episodes, you were
this
like,
is what happened, okay?
But
you don't listen. This is what happened. See, this is what happened. See, you don't listen, and luckily we have this on videotape, okay? And you can go back.
But time out. This was a nice episode.
It was a good episode.
And you started off with a jab at me.
I did. I did. See, honesty.
I can't just be cordial, even when Issa's being cordial. You started this jab fest.
It was a jab, but it was a cordial jab. I smiled when I said it.
Oh, okay. Wow, it's okay to jab. I got you.
Right. It was a love jab. It was a happy jab.
Okay.
No, okay, seriously. Jokes aside though, starts off, we find out that Issa was the person who Lawrence had called to go have a drink. She walks into a bar, she trips and falls. It is very Issa. It is hilarious. It just like the comedic timing, it was perfect. And then he asked her if she needs help. She says no. She actually lies down. She stays down on the floor for a very long time. And
that immediately breaks the tension because you saw Lawrence popping breath mints and spitting them out because he was
he was a little nervous too.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was like a little jittery. And I think overall this, even like those couple moments, right, we got to see what it was about them. Like, not necessarily I can say like this one show, it was like showed us why they lasted for 5 years, but we haven't gotten to see so much of how well they click ever.
Yeah.
We have seen it and we get it and we know it and we believe it, but this was just a really long example of that, and it was great. Okay, so they're in the bar. Sorry about that. They're in the bar. Finally, she gets to her seat. They sit. They're talking. She orders. He had her favorite drink, her old favorite drink, Prosecco and whiskey. I have to tell you that I now need to try that. She's moved on to Prosecco and vodka. Been there. Been there.
Okay.
There's this drink in Memphis at this place. What is it? Is it called Local? I think it's a bar called Local. And they have this thing called the Memphis Mimosa. And it's orange juice, Prosecco, and vodka. Treat yourself. In a very safe setting. But it was fun. Like, it was just like little things. Oh, Prentice Penny, right? The showrunner. We talk about him all the time because he always, after the show and during the show, he gives little tidbits. It's fun. If you're obsessed with the show like we are, it's fun to follow him. And he said that, I think he kind of like implied, do you remember when she finally stood up, this group of girlfriends, like they bumped into her a little bit. Mm-hmm. And they were having a conversation, and one of them was like, girl, I'm gonna break up with him, or something like that. And I guess that was a nod to Issa saying that back in the very first episode, or the first season. Was it the first episode?
I don't know. I would have to go and look back. And I just watched it not too long ago, but I don't remember.
So it was nice. So it was good to see them together. They end up not wanting to end the night, so they go to a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And a restaurant that Issa has obviously.
Because it got too rowdy.
It got too rowdy. They go to the restaurant, a restaurant that, I'm trying to think. When they were in the Uber or the Lyft going to the restaurant, was this before the restaurant when they were in the Lyft with the lady?
Yes, because they were like, it's too rowdy. Let's go to this restaurant that you said you've always wanted to go to, but you never went. They get in, and it was funny because Lawrence was immediately trying to show I'm not who I was. Like, I'm not the bum.
How so?
Instead of getting the regular Uber, I'm gonna get the big boy Uber. So you have you can see, I got a little money now. I changed. I'm not that bum that was sitting back and doing nothing. So to me, I thought that was okay. Because if you remember later on the show, I think they Ubered again. Well, she Ubered and she got a regular Uber, but you can tell.
She was like, listen.
You can tell throughout the episode, Lawrence was trying to show, even when at the end, which we'll get to when he invites her in, it was a very, I'm not who I was. So I want to show you how I'm more mature and how I'm financially stable. So I thought that whole thing was from Lawrence's aspect to say, I'm better than that man that mistreated you.
I'll take that. And it was a Lyft, and which is funny because Issa drives for Lyft, and he called her phone initially when he said he was going to call a Lyft driver. But they get in the Lyft. I don't want us to skip over that because this was funny, and this was actually my favorite scene, just my favorite little part of the entire episode. The Lyft driver is talkie. She's like, oh, you two are so cute. Is this a first date? It's funny. They're kind of like, they're like being like, no, this is not a first date, but they're playing along a little bit. Lawrence is entertained by the driver, by Issa's reactions. At one point, the driver asked if they were married or engaged, one of the two. Mm-hmm. And Issa goes, no! And the way Lawrence looked at her and busted out laughing, I kept going back, and it just was really sweet and funny. It was really well done. That was my favorite moment of the whole episode. It was just
I bought a ring.
Yeah.
Which we later
found out that
he actually did buy a ring.
Yeah.
When they were put together. So nice little connection.
So they get in the restaurant. They had a tough conversation in the restaurant, very honest conversation, but a tough conversation. Lots of honesty. He asked her why Daniel, and I think, and she asked him like, why didn't you want me, essentially? And both of them like still almost didn't even have clear answers, but it was clear enough. If like, you know what I mean? It was like very honestly explaining that I didn't even know how to say this, how to express this. And it just was a really important conversation. I think like when people have like demand conversations with ex-boyfriends or ex-girlfriends, that conversation is what they envision. And that is the conversation that Issa wanted to have back when she was sitting on the countertop at the apartment. Remember he come back? Mm-hmm. And I want to say, was that him coming back to get his mail back in season 1 or season 2? I don't remember. But that's the conversation that she, I think, wanted to have, and they both acknowledged that even a year ago,
Yeah, I don't
they
think
wouldn't have been
either
ready
one
for
of them
this
were ready for
conversation.
that conversation.
No, not at all.
And I liked, again, which is why I love this episode, and it tickled me so much because, again, there's been such bad communication that I've almost like thrown my phone at the TV.
Hmm.
For Lawrence to also be at the beginning, like, I forgot what exactly was said, but Issa says something and she go, "Ooh, was that a little too?" And he goes, "No, like, no BS." And I'm paraphrasing. Let's be raw with each
No
other.
tiptoeing or something like that,
No
right? Yeah.
tiptoeing or whatever. Let's be raw. I don't remember the phrase at the end. And then they just go in and he just asks the questions, and then she asks back, and they both answer honestly, and then they both give really answers that are really it's almost like I understand why one side hated the other side and this side hated that side, the other side. But then when you get the conversation and you put it out like that, it's almost like, yo, no one's bad here. Like, people were going through things happen, but there's no ill intent by either side.
For
Like, no
sure.
one's
Yeah. They loved each
a bad
other.
person. No one. It's just like, here's where I was at in life. We didn't communicate correctly, and she was just like, I didn't feel like you wanted me. I needed to feel wanted. That's real for men to understand. Like, you can't
Hmm.
ignore. And for him to say, yo, it wasn't that. It was, I felt so bad about my situation that it's almost like I had poor self-worth. So I wasn't able to give you what you needed. And that's a real thing too. So it was just, again, it was just pleasant to see realness like this.
I agree. Um, so they have this perfect conversation. They leave the restaurant, and all of a sudden, I can't even do it right.
Brat, brat.
There you go. Oh my God, that was funny.
I was like,
What's his name, Calvin?
yeah, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just call
yeah.
him TSA, man.
TSA Bay walks up. He's got a girl, her name is Mazda, with
Perfect.
him.
Perfect.
And Issa is immediately mortified. And they comes up, introduces themselves, and then it's obvious that they have been to this restaurant together. At least that's what it seems like. And then Lawrence is like, oh, this is gonna be fun. So he asks, like, how do y'all know each other? And finds out like they used to mess with each other. And it was so funny. She was so embarrassed. He was eating it all up. It was another funny, just a funny moment. And then she asks Lawrence if he wants to go to Art Walk. And he's like, no, I gotta go. And kisses her on the cheek abruptly and just walks off. And she was like, dang. Until he too starts making the same gun noises.
How many people really thought, yo, Lawrence ain't ish, that he was walking away? Because
Oh,
at
I
the
didn't think he
moment
was
you thought,
walking away.
oh, he's really walking away. Like,
I did not think he was walking away. It lasted way too long, though. It lasted way too long, but I didn't think he was walking away. I was just like, what? Why is it's like this joke is playing out a long time, and I did not know he was gonna bust out with the gun noises.
yeah, yeah. And I thought another thing that I thought, which some women killed Lawrence for, but I kind of enjoyed, just because it was more honesty. Even when you were caught or not, it was still honesty that he could have lied out of, that most men would have. You see Condola calls his phone when he's at the
Mm.
thing, and he's just like, instead of lying or doing what, oh, she's still trying to whatever, he's like, yeah, we still having conversations, we're still going back and forth. Like,
Right.
I
He doesn't
thought,
know where that stands, what he wants to do. It's not over, basically.
but in my mind, I thought, thank you, because I know how dudes are. You would
Mm.
lie, yo, she blowing me up, or, you know what I mean? You're gonna say something to not ruin the mood, or to not let her know the real situation. But for him to be for real and say, yeah, there's no lies here. We're still going back and forth trying to figure this thing out. I
Hmm.
thought that was a great thing to see too. Once again, clear-cut communication.
I'll take it. Then they get back to the house. He invites her in, but like under the premise of, and I think he really thought it was going to be a short visit. Like, I want to show her, how I'm living now. I want to show her my stuff. I want to show her that it's not just a bachelor pad, that I'm a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes up, and never leaves.
See, I don't understand why he would call Condola at that point. Why would you call her back?
Right.
Why would you call her back?
Maybe because he was trying to be honest. Like,
Yeah, but call her once she left. If you really thought she was gonna leave, like, why did you
that's
need?
a good point.
You know, I don't think most people would have done that. But again, you know, he took the call. She heard it. They went to be honest with each other, and then Issa did the flex. Issa was like, maybe a different Issa than the past. Yo, I'm gonna go get mine. I'm about to leave, but you know what? Here's what you're missing. I like you. I'm gonna be straightforward. Give me that. I liked it. I liked it. Don't
So
give someone else the first shot or someone else the chance. If you want the dude, say you want him, and then see how the reaction is. And of course, Lawrence is like, yeah.
yeah, they had a great night. It was very romantic and sexy, and they woke up the next morning and were being cutesy. And then Issa left, and she walked home, and it looked like she had this like really nice walk home, this feel good walk home. And I have no idea where things stand or what that means or what's going on, and we're just full of guesses now. And what do you think?
I mean, well, first, I think that walk home. I don't know if I read it from Penny or Issa. I read it from somewhere on Twitter, just about that was like an empowerment walk. Like, you know how
Yeah, that's what it felt like for sure. Yeah.
shame? Like, no, it's not a shame. I don't need a ride home from you. Like, I feel great. I feel empowered. I feel,
I'm in a good place.
all of those things. You know what I mean? So she has this face. The one thing that better not happen though, that this is the big theory that I've seen on Twitter, is that Condola is pregnant, and that's why she was pressing Lawrence.
Yeah.
I will be pissed.
I'm
gonna let you know. I'm gonna be tight. I'm gonna be upset.
You know what's crazy? I read it as like she's busy, right? And maybe they have plans to finally sit down and talk things out. When you go through kind of like a big fight that kind of ends up in like a temporary breakup or maybe a breakup, but you still care about each other, you have to have a talk, right? And they have plans. And maybe I honestly, and maybe I'm naive, but I was honestly thinking like something work-wise had come up for the night they had planned, and she was like, "Can we talk tonight?" And it was going to be an important conversation. But it also, I get that people are thinking it could be something a little spicier than just like, we need to have a post breakup, what are we doing conversation.
It was supposed to be Tuesday. She really wanted to see him that night. Why are you so pressed to see him that night? Why can't you wait until Tuesday, or if not the next day? Like, why does it have to be that night if he's busy? So again, please don't be pregnant.
I know. Do you think Issa and Lawrence end up like dating again?
Well, here's the thing. Issa still has Nathan. Like, it's not like, she was just
last week you said Issa was using Nathan and didn't like him, and now she has Nathan. What's going on here?
I don't know. Listen, I don't, because again, I do think she was using Nathan.
Okay.
For the concert situation and everything, but to be at his house at that point when Molly was on vacation, to be at Nathan's crib says something. Like, they're still kicking it and they're still doing something. So it's just like Lawrence has
so just like basically, Brooke, you're right a little bit. I think you forgot that part.
No, because she was using him.
Okay.
Just like she used Molly from time to time.
Okay. You said she didn't. You said she did not like him.
No, you're right with that. I don't know. You could be right with that. No, Brooke. You could be right now. The jury.
No, I'll take could. I don't care.
The jury's still out, but you could be right. I mean, again, being ghosted and going through all that, I know he has, but it don't make sense. But
right.
Things don't always make sense when it comes to liking somebody.
Exactly, and that's what it comes down to. Things don't always make sense, and I think that, things don't always make sense.
He has Condola. He has Condola. She has Nathan. So there's still gonna be some monkey wrenches in that thing to see what happened. And it's like, I could see a situation where at the end of the season, Issa says, "No, I'm done with the past in my life. I'm moving on," and goes to Nathan. But Lawrence still wants Issa.
part of me felt like that's where both of them stood. Like it just felt like the end. It's weird because like it was so romantic and it was so funny and they just get along so well and it they click so well there. It's perfect and it when it's good it seems. You know what I mean? But it did feel like a final moment partially too. I don't know.
I don't, because they're both in spots that they wanted the other person to be in,
Yeah.
right? Like Lawrence is now hustling and mature and understands what he did wrong. Like Issa is no longer in a dead end job and just running around. She has purpose and she has motivation on what she wants to do in life. So
Right.
they're
And
both at a spot where it's just like, that's what I want to see out of you. That's what I want to see out of you. And now we are, you know what I mean? This would be a
yeah, I
perfect,
do.
but again,
I think like more importantly, they're both in spots that they wanted themselves to be in.
yeah.
They're both working towards that at least. Do you know what I mean? Like they both have a better understanding of who they are, which sounds so dramatic but um yeah, I think because nobody's perfect. But I also think like you see them talking to each other and talking about themselves. The conversation that they were having walking through the art walk is that like Issa was saying that like focusing on her own happiness, like what makes her happy.
Mm-hmm.
And finding bits of finding that. And him realizing that he doesn't necessarily want to be a creator, kind of like the person running things. He likes to be a team player. He
Mm-hmm.
likes that feeling. He likes to build something with people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like them together so much.
But also at the same time, well, for one, I think Lawrence, like to have with the situation of back to back, Issa and then Condola. I think after that conversation with Condola, he was really like, I like her, but she was right about my feelings with Issa. Let me figure out what's going on. Let me get that together. Let's see if that's a possibility before I go to Condola. Depending on what Issa does, then I could try to do something with Condola as far as dating and you know, who knows what Condola wants, but
I need to
also,
clear that up, basically.
this also sounds like a situation where this is funny. This is random. I like random shows. You ever seen Psych?
Okay.
The show Psych?
I've never watched Psych.
Okay.
Boulay, right?
Dule Hill, funny ass show. But I could see a situation where Lawrence gets a job in San Francisco, but all the Issa's connects and the things she's building is here in LA. Now, long distance, do you do that? Are you passing by in the wind? You know what I mean? We're just like,
yeah. No, I don't see.
You're gonna go with him to San Francisco? Is he gonna say no to the job to stay in LA? You know what I mean? So that could be the circumstances. But again, all guessing because it's fun.
That's all we got. I think, right? That's all we got. It was such a fun episode.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Again, top 2, top 3. I loved
it. The preview was Issa and Molly having a conversation, which thank God, finally.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I know, right? Oof.
Nothing smooth with them, so I don't see it going smooth. But hopefully,
you know what? I think the fact that they both showed up tells me that I think it could go smoother than before.
Yeah. I want to see who initiated everything. We'll see.
Yeah.
But nothing with them is smooth, so we'll see. I don't feel positive about it. And I can't wait. And I can't wait for the Tiffany episode. I know they're gonna address that parenting situation. So.
Oh yeah, is that true?
I'm assuming. I
definitely want to see more of that.
I think that's been a big thing that they've thrown out there that they're waiting for, and maybe that's the thing that brings Molly and Issa together, or the friends together.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you for watching us here. Leave us comments because I like it. There's always really long comments. There were a lot of very long, passionate comments about our back and forth about the pool situation last week. And so I like that. I like reading those. I like interacting with you. And, hopefully this was a little bright spot in a tough time that you're probably most likely having as well.
Yep. Stay strong, stay positive, stay fighting.